I just squeezed a lot into 10 minutes. There is so much to get to today. I had to bring on a great guest who does more than I do. I mean, he does every sport. He knows how to pronounce hockey players' names because I certainly can't. Keith Irizarry, great friend of mine, MLB Network, NHL Network. I mean, he's going to tell you what else he does because honestly, I can't even keep track. Keith, what's going on?
What's up? Yeah, there's you and I are cut from the same cloth, right? We work at 97 different places, and it's the way to rock.
Hey, you can't keep all your eggs in the same basket. It's just that I've had to learn that in not only my work life, I've had to learn that in my dating life as well. You don't have to worry about that. But you do have a son that's playing basketball right now, and he's like legitimate. Like he should be like he's the next like Jalen Brunson, no?
Both of my boys are excellent. Love watching them play. My 10-year-old is next. I call Alex next. Austin right now, he's 14. He's in 8th grade. Yeah, he played JV basketball as an 8th grader, started the last 10 games of the year. They went 9-1 during that stretch, ended up leading the team in assists and steals, and he's playing on the national scene right now for AAU stuff. So yeah, Austin's crushing it. Alex is crushing it. I'm a very, very proud father, 100%.
That is so cool to just get to finally like go full circle in life where you're living vicariously again through your sons and watching them do what you probably did growing up. And of course, they can't gamble yet. They're very young. But the Knicks, by the way, I mean, how surprised are you with what they've been doing?
So very surprised. All right. So Ariel, let's talk about it this way. So, we're both in the New York area and we both do work with SNY. So a lot of the stuff that we focus on ends up being New York related. I grew up a Knicks fan. I'm older than you. So like 1994 Knicks was
not by much.
But 94 Knicks was my favorite team of all time. The way the Knicks went about building this team, specifically building a roster to beat the Boston Celtics, always fascinated me, and I wondered if it would come to fruition. And listen, obviously, still need to get the one more win. So again, not counting chickens before they hatch and all that kind of stuff, and horses before carts and stuff like that too. But they literally built their roster to beat the Celtics, and they're doing everything because of this roster, right? Like OG, Mikal Bridges, they play defense. Cat gives you the offensive punch that you need. Mitchell Robinson grabs all the offensive rebounds, doesn't do a lot else, but grabs the offensive rebounds, keeps a lot of these plays alive. And then Jalen Brunson is point guard, right? Like he's just awesome.
It's been so much fun to watch. Of course, it wasn't that fun to watch that Jason Tatum ends up going down. And I was going to get to this before, but Jason Tatum, which I thought was a little bit bizarre. I do this all the time with this stupid thing. Hold on. There we go. I thought it was kind of bizarre that Jason Tatum underwent surgery like now. You don't really hear about it in like the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, my guess, and again, not playing doctor, is my guess is it must have been a really bad rupture and they wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. And when you tear your Achilles, there's no other option. Like you're going to have to do surgery. It's not like, like Shohei Ohtani didn't want to do Tommy John surgery, knew he could rehab. If he waited pitching a year and a half, he'd be able to, or a year, whatever it would be, he'd be able to pitch again at some point. Bryce Harper was able to still hit with the tear in his UCL. With an Achilles, it's like you do it or you'll never play sports again. So I guess if you're Tatum, why not just get it done immediately? And if you can try to fast track your way back and even the 1 week, let's say that you do it quicker than normal, I think that's probably it.
These are the new odds now for the Knicks to win the series at -525, Celtics at 4-1. Kid, now I'm forced to go out tomorrow night. Like this is terrible. I had to get a table at a bar. I
don't hate that. Stop.
I texted my friend.
You are a woman of the people. You love hanging out with the crowds. Come on.
I texted my friend last night when the Knicks had about 2 minutes left. I said, so does this mean we have to go out on Wednesday? And she said, why are you asking? Of course we have to go out on Wednesday.
Yeah, you got to go celebrate. Hopefully a Game 5 win, first time in a quarter century that the Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and potentially waiting them is the Pacers, who I think is going to win tonight.
Ooh, okay. So let's get to that game because you've got a couple of props in that spot. I was a little too nervous to go looking at the Garland-Mitchell combo because of Mitchell's ankle injury. Why do you like Garland over points?
So one, I'm seeing a lot of the books already move them to 19.5, and I got in at 18.5. So like already you kind of see some movement there. I'm worried Donovan Mitchell, even if he plays, either it's a lingering thing that he can barely get through, or maybe he doesn't get through at all. If the Cavaliers are going to do anything at all, you kind of have to rock with Darius Garland. And you kind of look at what he's done, right? So the first game back, struggled. In the last game that they got blown out, ended up with 21 points in 27 minutes. We know Garland is an all-star and an all-star caliber player. So if someone needs to step up, why wouldn't it be Darius Garland? And I guess if you look at the over-under on this game at, almost 230, you believe it's going to be relatively high scoring. Someone's got to score. So I like Darius Garland to try to take the bull by the horn and do his thing.
And then you like TJ McConnell, 5 or more assists. Good value here at plus 135. Why is he dishing it out?
Yeah, so this wouldn't be like my favorite play, but when you're getting the value at plus 135, so back-to-back games of 7 or more assists, right? When he plays 18 to 22, 23 minutes, he basically gets to this number. Top this in 5 of his last 9 games as well. Again, this is about minutes being played. If he can play about 20 minutes, 5 assists makes sense. Now, the number was set at 3.5, and that's minus money. So I kind of wanted to get plus value again. You and I have known each other for a long time. I'll give out like ones that I'm saying I feel great about Garland. McConnell, I like a lot. And if you're looking for plus value, I think you get it there.
Then you think the Pacers are going to win?
I do. I wouldn't bet it. Now that's the thing. So like, again, something you know about me a lot too. And I know you are too. Hence the name Prop Queen. I lean more towards the props than picking sides and totals. But I think there's something about this Pacers team. I think they're going to win tonight. I think the Cavaliers just looked defeated in the last one, losing by, 175 or whatever it was.
That's
kidding.
why it's so crazy. Yeah. They're laying 8.5.
Because they are the better team. But the Pacers, something seems special about them. I think they win tonight. Jessica
Brand says, hey, and Pacers, spicy.
Thanks, Jessica.
The late game tonight, you've got more props in this one, and I'm glad you do, because this game was really hard for me to figure out. A few of the props that I liked early on in this series just haven't panned out the way that I thought, like Nikola Jokic rebounds plus assists.
Yeah,
you're going SGA rebounds plus assists and staying away from his points at home. It's like kind of a fade the public kind of play.
Well, sometimes that's fun, right? And again, so I was able to find some plus value. The plus value I found was on FanDuel. Obviously, you shop your books. That was just the best number I found. So Gilgeous-Alexander, get him at over 14.5 rebounds and assists. He's topped this in 2 of his last 4 games. And again, I just kind of feel like pace of play in this game. The Denver Nuggets are trying their best to limit him on the offensive side of things points-wise, the same way that the Oklahoma City Thunder are throwing, Hartenstein and Jalen Williams and all these guys at Jokic to make things difficult on him. So I think you look at Shea there, get a little plus value. You can also look at Shea on the defensive side of things, over 1.5 steals, basically even money, back-to-back games of 2 steals in 4 of his last 5 games. And Denver's turning the ball over so much, 15 turnovers per game during this postseason. So there are chances simply just for SGA to kind of jump in a passing lane, or a ball gets loose. Even if it's tipped by someone else, if he's the one that picks it up, he gets the stat. So I'll go there too.
I also love that you're going with Aaron Gordon, because Aaron Gordon is having a hell of a year. I mean, the postseason for him, I don't mean year, but like the postseason for him has been incredible, with a couple of great game-winning shots. Over his rebounds plus assists is where you're going, and you like him from outside. Why are you going to attack the Thunder on the perimeter, especially?
So let's go out. Let's talk about the 3-pointer first. And I wonder where you would sit on this. So I think there's a way, if you want to ladder this, you could. So Aaron Gordon, 2 or more threes, you get it basically even money minus 104. He's done this in 4 consecutive games. So let's assume he can do that, right? Now, if you want to go a little bit further on this to get to 3 or more threes, which he has done a few times, get you all the way up to 3-1 odds. So I think you could ladder it where you come up with, all right, so let me say if we're betting $100, let's do, $70 on the 2 or more threes, basically just to get your money back. And then you put the 30 on basically a little sprinkle in the 3 or more. I think that is a good way to play this. Where would you sit on that? Do you like the ladder plays on the 3-pointers, or you don't?
I usually will just take a 3-point prop at where it sits. Like, I usually won't take it any higher because they're pretty spot on. Now, if you find the edge, like I did a couple of years ago with someone like Desmond Bain, I did like Desmond Bain's number, it took them a month and a half to adjust to because he was great.
I remember. So remember that this was 2 years ago.
And I usually hate 3-point props.
So while you and I were talking baseball all the time at MLB Network, I remember you and I talking about this. You were on Bain 3-pointers. I was on Bain first quarter points, and we were crushing that for that entire playoff.
Yeah, and I feel like in the regular season, you can find those edges better. Once defenses get so good in the postseason, it's like, oh, we can't find a bad perimeter defense. Yeah. And I was attacking the Knicks a little bit, but they've figured it out a little. Well, not really yesterday against the Celtics, but
sneak in the other Aaron Gordon play, by the way.
Yeah.
I think go over 10.5 rebounds and assists.
Like
Again, basically even money on most of the sites. He's done this in 3 of his last 4 games. He's been just so consistent for the Denver Nuggets. He's playing a ton of minutes. And again, kind of when you look around these teams, and especially in the postseason, they are so focused on limiting Nikola Jokic, and Oklahoma City is so focused on kind of limiting Jamal Murray that it's the tertiary guy like an Aaron Gordon. If Michael Porter Jr. was healthy, it might be him, but it's Aaron Gordon. And Gordon is the benefit of the defense kind of forgetting about him almost.
Right, and that's kind of the edge I've been looking for because I've tried with Michael Porter Jr. I've tried to believe in him. He has really good numbers this year against OKC, and yet he's just banged up, and that's the reality of it. But Keith, this series is so crazy. Like, the West is literally the wild, wild West. Yeah. Now with the injuries to someone like Steph Curry, where it's annoying because I thought the Warriors maybe had the best shot because of their experience and depth facing OKC. Watching this series tied at 2 with OKC and Denver, how much do you believe that OKC is really this heavy of a favorite the way they have been to win the West?
They're the better basketball team, right? But Denver is a champion for a reason. And the question becomes, can Oklahoma City, who is an excellent defense all year long, can they continue to do this to Jokic? Is he running out of steam? Has he, going for the season-long triple-double? Has it worn him down? I think Oklahoma City wins this game. 10.5 is a lot of points. I do not think that I would bet them to cover that.
I couldn't lay 10.5 in a playoff game. Oh, it sounds absolutely disgusting. Okay, Major League Baseball, it's my favorite.
Yep.
This is why Keith and I do well, by the way. I do not bet hitters props. I give them out to tell you who has good matchups, but I do not really bet these. Keith, on the other hand, very good at betting them, was one of the first people I knew to bet this hits, runs, and RBI market. I never even knew this market existed until Keith went on Irizarry with me and was like, yeah, we're going hits, runs, and RBI. I'm like, what? That's a market?
Yeah, it's a fun one. And unfortunately, the book is starting to catch up a little bit. So they're either juicing these 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, or they're making you go to 2.5 in order to get close to even money or even into the plus money. But I found 2 that were digestible. So Francisco Lindor, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, minus 145. If for some reason you are new to this prop, all this means is we have to get more than 2 total of any version of hits, runs, RBIs. So that's why this works for a guy like Juan Soto. I'm not playing it today, but if Juan Soto walks 3 times and then scores 2 runs, you win. If he hits a sac fly and walks once and then scores a run, you win. So it's better than the total base props for that, but you don't get as much bang for your buck. So back to Lindor. Arielli's topped this in 4 of his last 5 games. He's absolutely blazing hot right now. And at home, 20 home games this year, batting over 400, has 8 home runs. He also walks a lot. So that's kind of why I like this one too. And Keller, who he's potentially going to face at least twice, doesn't strike out lefties. So I think there's value there. I'll jump to the other hits, runs, RBI guy. It's Jose Ramirez. Typically for him, you could go total bases, or you could actually just play the RBI because he's such an RBI monster. Again, I got this at minus 145. It's worth playing. He's topped this in 6 of his last 7 games. He's batting 400 during his 7-game hitting streak, and he's walked 5 times. That's more than he struck out during this streak. Again, the walks could lead to runs scored, which gives you the edge there. I'm also not a believer in Quinn Priester yet. In 6 starts this season, he's given up 3 or more runs in 3 of those rather. And he doesn't really, like, he strikes people out, but he walks a lot of people too. Pretty even there. It's 20 strikeouts to 19 walks. There's options there. And finally, I'll give you one more. I know it's on the screen. Fernando Tatis Jr. I'll go bases on him over 1.5 total bases. Ariel, minus 105 is where I locked it in. Soriano hasn't been great on the mound this year. You figure he faces him twice. I think he gets at least 1 hit against him. He's 3 for 3 with a trio of singles against him in his career. On a 6-game hitting streak. I know Machado's on a longer streak. I like the number better, the price better for Tatis, and he's topped this in 3 of his last 6.
I never thought about the walk thing when it came to the hits, runs, RBI market. Just get on base, then maybe you could score. Drive, like, it's a genius. I get, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me now, and why it gets juiced to minus 145. How do you decide if you're gonna go? I know you kind of just alluded to it, but deciding between the total bases and the hits, runs, RBI, I feel like I'd say, oh, but he's supposed to have a good day getting on base.
Yeah, really quick, Daniel in the chat, walks do not count towards the bases. So basically, you have to, for total bases, something has to happen where your bat leads you to get on base, right? So you get a single, that's 1 base. Nothing after that counts for a base as well, which is sometimes confusing, right? Because I know a lot of people who are new to total base props think, well, if I get insert player X gets a single and then steals second base, he's now gotten 2 bases, right? No, the bat accounts for the bases. So that's why you have to look at that. All right, so back to your question, Ariel. The way I kind of break that down is, do I trust the guy to get more than 1 hit? Then I would lean towards total bases if the price is right. You and I went back on this, and I remember Matt Stryker and the 3 of us having this conversation when it was Aaron Judge during his 62 home run season. You and Stryker were anti the home run prop if it was like below a certain number, right? Like you both were like, if it's under 2-1, I'm not playing it. You both wanted 3-1. My counter to that was, if I'm going to play a total base prop on him at minus 105, I might as well just play the home run for him at, plus 175, since that's kind of how he was getting all his bases anyway.
Boomer bust. I know that's what my are. I get it, Keith. You didn't have to rub it in anymore.
Well, it's not that you were wrong. It's just different views on it, right? Like, technically, you and Stryker are correct
home
on
run
that.
props.
I know you do.
Them. Yeah. They're like anytime touchdown props, but worse.
Or anytime, or like if you want to go deep dive on goals, right? Like anytime goal scorers in hockey is a tough thing. Like Mikko Rantanen. All right, so on VSiN.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have a shots on goal prop, which I love that market.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun. So last week, I was doing the morning show on VSiN, and we had a lot of fun with the Mikko Rantanen back-to-back hat tricks, right? So we did a ladder, and I came up with the number, right? So if he scored 1 goal, you had to do, again, I like to do it off $100. You do $65 on the 1 goal, right? And it would pay you back. I want to say it was like $125 you would make, right? If you got a second goal, it was like, 4-1 odds. And if you got a third goal, it was like 9-1 odds. So basically, if all 3 of that happened again for a hat trick, you were going to walk away with like $1,700, something like that off of 100. That's a great payout. He had done it twice already. You were asking a lot for him to do it 3 times. It didn't happen, by the way. But it was a lot of fun. And again, pizza money kind of things is the way I would bet on that one. The shots on goal thing. Something to remember is shots are different than shots on goal. So I think that's really imperative to like take note of that when you are playing these hockey plays. Some books will offer you shots. Most it's shots on goal. So like for Rantanen, who's been amazing, he only had 3 shots on goal the last 2 games, despite the fact he had 9 shots. So shot attempts are different than shots on goal. Previous to that, he had crushed this prop. I think he bounces back. I think he gets at least the 3 shots on goal. We're getting plus money on it. He's in the 97th percentile on shots on goal during the postseason. Enough for me to like it. Yeah. Also, by the way, I don't think there's going to be lots of goals scored in this one. Slight lean to the under 5.5. I think Hellebuck will finally bounce back a little bit tonight, and Ottinger has been awesome in net.
All I keep hearing is Hellebuck is going to bounce back. Hellebuck is going to bounce back. I'm waiting for it the same way that I'm waiting for Christian Braun and Pods to go over their freaking points props. But you know what? That's what we do. We're glutton for punishment, and we love to keep going back to what we know should be hitting and happening in the world of sports. Keith Irizarry, he does that for you. VSiN, SNY, NHL Network, MLB Network. Did I leave anything out?
ESPN also, yeah.
ESPN.
And I teach a class at Hofstra.
And he teaches a class in Hofstra. He's in the Hofstra Hall of Fame, and he's the father of 2 adorable children who are like star basketball players. So if you want to be someone when you grow up, be Keith Irizarry. Well, not if you like to sleep. He doesn't sleep. Keith,
sleep is totally overrated.
Thank you, Keith, so much for coming on. Good luck with all these bets tonight, and I will see you again